Hey, what's up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's going on? What's up, man? Man, it's been a busy week in the news. I'ma say, bruh, it's been wild out here. You know?
Bruh.
Yo. So it seems like, man, this story about rappers getting locked up, getting in trouble with these RICO cases, man, it's starting to get a little bit deeper. And in one of the fastest situations I've ever seen of karma coming right back around, it looks like karma didn't come right back around and hit Sauce Walka and his crew. Now, for those of you who don't know, Sauce Walka is a Houston rapper who gained a lot of fame and notoriety when Jay-Z put him on one of his playlists. Because Sauce Walka had already been grinding for a long time and doing good in the music industry, but he started getting national recognition after that, right? Him and a collective of artists called the Sauce Factory, they've been doing their things. They're all his artists. He's the CEO of the label. And according to rumors out there and several reports, members of the Sauce Factory just got arrested in a RICO indictment. Bruh, when is this gonna stop? This is crazy, man. The funny part about it, which might not be so funny now, Sauce Walka was just talking about Gunna. He was just dissing Gunna about the same thing, man. Laughing at the fact that he took a plea deal, laughing at the fact that, he didn't allegedly stand tall with YSL, and now it looks like his own crew, in a weird spat of karma, are gonna be put to the same test.
Bruh.
That's crazy, right? All right, I see you guys piling in here. So as you get in here, make sure you hit that like button, man, because we're going to go all the way through this story and talk about the associated news story with it. But in order for us to get things cracking and get them started off like we usually do, you know what we got to do, man. We gotta go ahead and bring it in, all right? Good morning, and what's up to everybody? Here we go. We're kicking off the weekend show with some breaking news, man. So it looks like some members of Sauce Walka's crew, the Sauce Factory, have been arrested, man. Now, let's actually look at this news report that everybody is associating to this story. Then we're going to get into some of the things that are being said online. Like, as I said before, Sauce Walka is a well-known rapper from Houston, Texas. Dude's got a nice following, and his way into the rap game wasn't a traditional one, He's known more for his player side of things, me trying to keep it YouTube friendly, and, things that he's done outside of rap that draw interest from people in the streets. Now, we've documented beefs that he's had with other rappers, like Blicka Blicka and other people of that nature, but this time it looks like Johnny Law is knocking at Sauce Walka's door, and it might come down hard on him, just like it came down hard on YFN Lucci, and just like it came down hard on Young Thug. Because at the end of the day, it seems like with these RICO cases, the CEO of the label seems to be labeled as a boss, seems to be the person that's put out there as the leader because of the position that they hold in the record industry and above these people within the label. I know the two things shouldn't be conflated or mixed up, but man, if what's going on with Young Thug is any indication of what might happen with Sauce Walka, he's looking for a long trial, man. This is crazy, man.
Bruh.
All right, man. Everybody in here, make sure you hit that like button for those of you who already have. Salute. So, man, let's get to this news story, man. This is crazy. So, Sauce Walka, let's bring this up, man.
More than a dozen men behind bars facing federal charges as part of a joint operation to crack down on violent offenders.
Ooh. Let me go ahead. There you guys go.
More than a dozen men behind bars facing federal charges as part of a joint operation to crack down on violent offenders in the Houston area. Thank you for joining us. I'm Keith Garvin.
And I'm Daniela Guzman. KPRC2's Bryce Newberry is live at the downtown federal courthouse with some new details about this big bust. Bryce?
Keith and Daniela, we've learned tonight from the FBI that more than 200 personnel, tactical teams from all across the state, came in and surrounded the homes of these 14 accused criminals, arresting them at 6 o'clock in the morning. For this.
All right, so it looks like this took place about a day ago, and it was a sweeping indictment where some people rushed in home. And what's crazy is when you see Sauce Walka on social media, I follow Sauce Walka, so I see his movements and stuff, man. He's always got these cribs with a whole bunch of dudes who live there. You know what I mean? I'm not too sure if recently he's tried to move to different places. I know he was in Miami for a while, but it looks like this was in the Houston area. Now, the Sauce Factory, or TSF, has been looked at before in the past as potentially a criminal organization. And I believe that's why he moved to Florida the first time. But it looks like this might have came back to stab him, man, just based on karma, it feels like, man. I know I'm not the only one getting that feeling, man. This feels like some straight up karma, bruh. But, man, let's continue with the news story.
Second time in 2 months, the FBI announcing a group of arrests. The special agent in charge of the Houston division says target violent crime.
For every criminal that we take off the streets, that's one less person being victimized.
Early Wednesday morning, FBI tactical teams helped arrest 14 men indicted for federal violations like drug trafficking and unlawful possession of a firearm.
Now, you heard that, right? Federal authorities. So this looks like it's going to be a Fed RICO case. Now, nowhere in this news report have they mentioned Sauce Walka yet, but this is the news story that's being associated with his crew, TSF, and the people who were arrested. Man. All right, let's continue.
Guns and drugs, they fuel violent crime.
Court records show several of the men have lengthy criminal histories in Harris County.
Well, federal charges usually are longer sentences. It's much harder to be released on bond on the federal side than it is on the state side.
The arrests come after federal and local officials in September announced a surge of law enforcement tools and resources to the Houston area to target gangs.
We're going to use
You heard that. They started just, what they say, in September. They started a large-scale operation to cut down on gangs. Now, I'm not going to say, well, maybe, because September was before. So we'll see, man. It seems like, man, a lot of the things that have been happening in hip-hop are starting to have the police and authorities starting to react to these things.
every resource available to make sure that we're dismantling gangs, that we are dismantling criminal networks.
And that's work that won't stop.
And we will keep chipping away at these criminal enterprises and to reduce the crime in the Houston area. That's our job.
And the FBI tells us that it cannot do all of this investigative.
Now, if the feds are doing the case and the feds indict Sauce Walka and them, you know what I'm saying? Man, bruh, ain't no chance, man. Ain't no chance. You know, might as well. We'll see how standing tall is going to really stand in the future, man, if this is the case. But let's continue.
Work without tips from the public, whether it's big or small. The special agent in charge stressed the importance of sharing that information.
Okay, so you guys heard that news story right there, right? Basically, there were 14 members or 14 people, and we're going to play it again, don't worry, that were arrested, and it's all men who were arrested at a house, and they had varying charges, and they were arrested by the feds. And it's looking like a RICO indictment, and they're serious about this. So if Sauce Walka, I know he hasn't responded yet, and I'll be looking for that. But if Sauce Walka was anyway involved, and I'll give you the names, we'll read the story also, man. It seems like, yo, his goose might be cooked, man. It might be done, bruh. And I like Sauce Walka. Don't get me wrong, man. I do a lot of videos about Sauce Walka. But what's crazy is, let's talk about karma, man. Sauce Walka was just clowning Gunna, wasn't he? So let's play some of that, man. Just a little bit of that, right?
So you admit that the firearms was with you in the vehicle on this day?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Do you admit? Do you admit that your rap career?
Uh-oh. My bad, y'all. That video is tripping, but yo, here you go.
So you admit that the firearms was with you in the vehicle on this day?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you admit? Do you admit that your rap career?
But you guys get the drift. So that was a little bit of the video of Sauce Walka dissing Gunna after he did his plea. He made his plea deal. What's crazy is how fast the karma came back to hit Sauce Walka if all of this is true. Now, several people are out there saying that these guys who were arrested were members of Sauce Walka's crew, no doubt about it. And a lot of people are reporting that on social media. So let's actually look and see what the official news report that was associated with this says. So hopefully you guys can see this right here in a second. So that is the article right here. And we're going to read this whole thing. So it says, tactical teams help arrest 14 Houston men indicted for federal drug trafficking and firearm violations. So it goes on to say that more than a dozen men are behind bars and facing federal charges as a part of a joint operation to crack down on violent offenders in the Houston area. Now, let's be real. I think the feds do watch a lot of what's going on in hip hop and all that, right? But this is too coincidental, man. He was just clowning Gunna, and then all of a sudden this happens to his crew, allegedly or whatnot. That's the fastest karma I ever seen in my life. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, man. Oh man, hold up.
Bruh.
Y'all go ahead and hit that like button, man. Get those likes up. Hit that like button, man. Hit that like button, man. We should be at over 300 likes, man. Let's run them up. Man. Let's go. And for those of you who already hit the like button, you already know. Round of applause. But let's continue. So it goes on to say this. It says, a total of 14 men were jailed after being charged in various crimes, including drug trafficking, possessing a Glock switch. Uh-oh. See? You already know. When you hear about that switch, you know that comes with a lot of time. And being a felon in possession of a firearm, U.S. Attorney Almadar S. Hamadani announced Thursday. Now, the following suspects were taken into custody on Wednesday. Anthony Ketchum, 35 years old. Anthony Yazino Hopkins, 38 years old. Brandon Milson, 32 years old. Hassani Mills, 34 years old. Jalen Pinson. These cats still in the street, man. Okay. Jalen Pinson, 29 years old. Jose Rodriguez, 32 years old. Keith Moore, 34 years old. Michael Henry, 32 years old. Miles Smith, 23 years old. Robert Thomas, 29 years old. Sterling Brumont, 26 years old. Titus Balsey, 35 years old. And Torrey White, 27 years old, according to the news release. Now, as far as I know, none of those names is Sauce Walka's name. So maybe it's just his crew and not him. So what I'm going to do while you guys take your time to hit that like button, I'm going to do some typing, and I'm going to just make sure that I got that correct about Sauce Walka and his name, because it doesn't sound like his name. Yeah, Albert Walker Monday. Yeah, I am not trying to put him out there at docs. I'm just trying to say that in the list of the people who were arrested, I don't see Sauce Walka's name listed, or at least his name that's on social media. You know what I mean? So it seems like if this was his crew, he wasn't directly arrested right now, or arrested yet, I should say, because when it comes to these RICO indictments, man, you guys already know, man. As many times as we talk about these stories and we go over these things, man, it sometimes people get arrested first, sometimes people get arrested last. But when you start to see people in your crew get arrested, and if somebody doesn't hold the ship down, you're gonna be next. And it's amazing that the karma reacted that fast, that the world reacted that fast and said, okay, you laughing at Gunna, so let's put your team to the test, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy, bro.
Bruh.
If I was a rapper, I wouldn't say nothing about these RICOs. I would leave it alone, dog. Don't even mention it. Like, bad juju. You know what I'm saying? Bad juju. You know what I mean? That's for real, man. Now, what's crazy is Sauce Walka hasn't, he's usually really active on social media. And he's usually real quick to respond. So let me finish out this story so we can close this down. Now, it says the FBI Houston special agent in charge, James Smith, told the local news there that FBI tactical teams from around the state came in and more than 200 personnel were spread around the county. They surrounded the homes and the accused criminals and arrested them around 6 a.m. on Wednesday. For every criminal that we take off the street, that's one less person being victimized, they said. Now, nowhere in this story do I see the name of Sauce Walka or his crew mentioned. And we'll play the news story again because, I know a lot of people are getting in here now. But the indictment also alleges that Thomas, okay, so they talk about one person in particular here. I don't want to talk about. Okay, so it looks like a lot of the people who are being named in here, I don't know them as rappers. You know what I mean? Now, that doesn't mean that they're not a part of TSF in some way or affiliated. But it looks like, man, as far as this story is concerned, that if this is at the start of a RICO indictment, man, Sauce Walka, man, he's going to be having a tough time out there, man. That's crazy, bro. Crazy.
Bruh.
Yeah, man. Crazy. Now, let's go back and play the news story just in case we missed something. But before that, let me see if I can get this video working of Sauce Walka clowning Gunna, which is the craziest bit of karma ever.
So you admit that the firearms was with you in the vehicle on this day?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you admit? Do you admit that your rap career?
Yeah, I don't want to act right. But, man, that's the video of Sauce Walka where he was clowning Gunna for being in this situation. It's just wild, man, that he's in this situation himself. So let's go back to that news report real quick, man. Just in case we missed something.
More than a dozen men behind bars facing federal charges as part of a joint operation to crack down on violent offenders in the Houston area. Thank you for joining us. I'm Keith Garvin.
And I'm Daniela Guzman. KPRC2's Bryce Newberry is live at the downtown federal courthouse with some new details about this big bust. Bryce?
Keith and Daniela, we've learned tonight from the FBI that more than 200 personnel, tactical teams from all across the state, came in and surrounded the homes of these 14 accused criminals, arresting them at 6 o'clock in the morning. For the second time in 2 months, the FBI announcing a group of arrests the special agent in charge of the Houston division says target violent crime.
For every criminal that we take off the streets, that's one less person being victimized.
Early Wednesday morning, FBI tactical teams helped arrest 14 men.
Oh, y'all do me a favor. Make sure y'all hit that like button if you ain't here early with me. You know what I mean? The RICO, if you want. Okay. Yeah. I agree, man. Somebody said, mention a RICO case if you want. And then that same karma gonna come back on you, I guarantee.
Men indicted for federal violations like drug trafficking and unlawful possession of a firearm.
Guns and drugs, they fuel violent crime.
Court records show several of the men have lengthy criminal histories in Harris County.
Well, federal charges usually are longer sentences. It's much harder to be released on bond on the federal side than it is on the state side.
The arrests come after federal and local officials in September announced a surge of law enforcement tools and resources to the Houston area.
Now, I'm wondering, man, there's been a surge of, they said there was a surge of resources in September to the Houston area. I know Houston is probably, it's going through the summer, it was one of those spots where everybody was going to party. You know what I'm saying? Going to hang out. It kind of took over where Atlanta was with that sense, right? But since then, there also has been an increase in crime. And if you've noticed, there's been a national crackdown on trying to get at gangs, man. Like, that's the narrative that's been pushed out there. And for some reason, when it comes to these hip-hop artists, the way that it's structured, they make sure that the hip-hop artist, and I've got my theories on this, is always structured as the boss or one of the bosses, like Gunna, the underboss. And most people would be like, get out of here with that. You feel me? But we'll get to that in a little bit, man, when I go with my rant.
To target gangs.
We're going to use every resource available to make sure that we're dismantling gangs, that we are dismantling criminal networks.
And that's work that won't stop.
And we will keep chipping away at these criminal enterprises and to reduce the crime in the Houston area. That's our job.
And the FBI tells us that it cannot do all of this
Now, y'all heard that right, man. The FBI. So this ain't state, man. Like, with Gunna, even with the rich homie, the hood rich Pablo Juan situation, with Gunna, YSL, Young Thug, that's state. You actually got a better chance of whooping the state. There's cats who have actually beat the RICO in the state several times. It's happened, you know what I mean? But when it comes to these Fed cases like this, man, they ain't coming in unless they got all the evidence and everything, man. So let's go.
Investigative work without tips from the public, whether it's big or small. The special agent in charge stressed the importance of sharing that information.
All right, so that is the news report on that, man. Now, let's see what's being said here on, I seen something right here, man, on social media. So a lot of people are reporting on this and saying that, yo, Sauce Walka's crew, 14 members of Sauce Walka's team just got picked up on RICO charges a few days after Sauce Walka was making fun of Gunna online. Everybody sees the irony in this. I don't know if that's irony or coincidence, but man, either way, it feels like a lot of karma coming back on Sauce Walka for how he was talking about Gunna, man. Now, the crazy part about this is, I think, man, the way that these RICOs are going in these situations I think it's the influence that the rappers have on people, and specifically the youth. I think that's the target in this situation, in these situations. Like, and this is a theory of mine. Because why would a country, like, think about it, like China banned NBA YoungBoy's music. Why would a whole country ban one person's music, man? Unless they think it's that influential. You feel what I'm saying? And I think the same thing is being thought of these rappers. That's why when you see these RICO indictments come down, the rapper is put at the top of the RICO indictment. The rapper is situated to where the mafia boss would have been situated in a RICO indictment back in the days when these were mostly used for mafia bosses and for people in illegal organizations for real. Now they're being used against rap crews. So it's weird, man, because you're now seeing rappers being put in a position to where they got to face a gazillion years. I don't even want to say gazillion, but like 20 years, 20 plus football numbers, they would say, or either take a plea deal. You know what I mean? Even on the state level, look at what they were facing. They're talking about Gunna was facing, what, 5 years, I guess? Yeah, most people can scoff at that, but he already been locked down. And, man, Gunna, it wasn't built from that from the gate. You feel me? So it seems like in these situations that rappers, if they're going to be promoting what they do or where they from, they're going to have to become way more strategic in the future, man. They're going to have to be way, way smarter about what they put out there, because obviously people are listening and some influence is being felt somewhere around. And there's been people who've obviously studied this or did something, because they're coming at hip hop artists heavy right now. I'm talking about super heavy. And if Sauce Walka got caught up in this, the same situation that Gunna did and made fun of him for copping a plea, I would expect that everybody in his crew, or if they were with him when he was laughing in that video, they stand tall like they was said they were going to do. You know what I'm saying? Backwards that time, but we good. Imagine that. Think about the what? What in the karma coming quick, man? This is crazy. This is crazy, man. Now, as of now, I don't see anything where Sauce Walka has made a statement or said anything on social media. I'm pretty sure he's being smart because this is the feds. He don't want to say nothing. He's probably lawyering up if this is really his crew and just trying to stay away from it, to be honest. Because let's be real. Nobody want to play these games with the feds. For what Young Thug and Gunna and them are going through, it's twice as bad. You know what I'm saying? And there's a guy, they already said in the story that they caught him with a switch. So, man, let's go over that part of the story, man. So it says, according to court records, several of the men have lengthy criminal histories in Harris County, and federal charges are usually longer sentences. According to the DOJ, Brumett was arrested in California, who is one of the guys who's alleged to be one of Sauce Walker's crew members, right? Alleged, right? He was arrested in California and ordered detained pending further criminal proceedings. Also charged is Julian Herrera, 26 years old. He was previously in custody on related charges. He made his appearance Wednesday in Houston along with the other 9 men. With the exception of Thomas Rodriguez, and the remaining men are charged with possession with intent to deliver meth. They face up to life in prison and could be ordered to pay fines up to $10 million. So it looks like Thomas and Rodriguez, 2 of the guys who were arrested, they could be facing life and a $10 million fine.
Bruh.
Moore faces an additional charge of possession with intent to deliver, which carries a maximum sentence of 40 years. See what I'm saying? The feds ain't playing, dog. They talking about life sentence is what you're facing off the gate, 40-year prison sentence off the gate. And that's for a possession with an intent to deliver. And what he was intending to deliver is probably one of the most talked about things right now. You can't even say it. It's crazy, right? The indictment also alleges that Thomas unlawfully possessed a firearm, a device made and intended to convert a semi-automatic pistol to being a fully automatic, aka Glock auto switch. If convicted, he faces 10-year possible sentence. So this guy Thomas also gets as he's facing life in one charge, right? So he's also facing a 10-year sentence for having a switch on him. Now, Rodriguez is alleged to have been in possession of a firearm, a Ruger 5.7 millimeter. As a convicted felon, he is prohibited from federal law of such and could also be sentenced to a maximum of 10 years. So the cats who caught the bulk of the charges are this guy named Thomas and this guy named Rodriguez. They both were found with weapons. One is already a convicted felon, and the other was found with a switch on his weapon. So he caught he's getting 10 years regardless. It's the second group of arrests announced in the last 2 months following a September announcement by federal local authorities about a U.S. Department initiative. It targets gangs and most violent offenders by surging law enforcement tools and resources, including federal prosecutors, to the Houston area. So they basically just been keying in on Houston trying to clean it up. And there's several people who are involved in this. I mean, there's those 2 people, there's 12 other defendants, and I'm pretty sure there's lower level guys in that. And just like the situation you seen play out with Young Thug in his RICO indictment, except this is on the federal level, so it's even more strict, you're probably going to have people who going to take deals, man. Let's be real. And hopefully they don't mention Sauce Walka. That'd be the best thing for Sauce Walka. Now, it also says the FBI arrested 7 men in October for allegations including conspiracy to commit interference with commerce by robbery, conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute, and carrying a weapon in relation to a drug trafficking offense, the Department of Justice said in the news release. We will keep chirping away at these criminal enterprises to reduce the crime in Houston area. That's our job. They saying this is a criminal enterprise that Sauce Walka and them got over there, huh? Allegedly. Bruh. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. This is crazy. I mean, to be real, Sauce Walka wasn't in the initial arrest. There were 2 groups of arrests that have taken place, right? So to be completely honest, unless somebody involves him in this, and he's not one of those guys who got the original charge, it might not be as bad as people think for him. You know what I'm saying? It might not be. We'll see, man. Like he said with Gunna. This is what he said with Gunna was that, he didn't stand tall. Now he's going to be reliant on his crew to stand tall. It's crazy, man. This is crazy. This is freaking, talk about karma coming back, man. All right. Now we've talked about this Sauce Walka situation enough, but there's something else I want to talk about since we are doing this weekend show early. Man, we got to talk about how this YSL indictment fell apart, bro. Like this YSL RICO case, because I haven't had an opportunity to talk about these things, man. I want to talk about the fact about this New York Times reporter and what he put out there as far as the two more people. You got two people. You got YSL Duke and you got SLimelife Shawty. Now, SLimelife Shawty is a rapper. Same with YSL Duke. And you could see that they had a tight affiliation with YSL, obviously, right? But what you didn't see coming was them taking a plea deal as well. And I got my theory on this, man. And let's bring it up. Yeah, forget it. Let's bring this up. I want you guys to see it. And hopefully you guys can see that. Boom. So there's this guy right here, Joe Cascarelli. He's got a whole thread where he talked about these recent, these two recent guys who have taken plea deals. And he goes, and I want to show you guys this. So this is YSL Duke's plea deal, and he put it out there. And the way that it's structured and the way that it looks is similar to the plea deal that we saw with Gunna. The same paperwork and everything, and he's a New York Times reporter, so he has no reason to lie about this, right? So I can pretty much guarantee that this is factual paperwork, right? But look at this. What I want you guys to see, and for those of you who don't know, YSL Duke is mentioned in the YSL RICO indictment several times. When I say several, I'm talking about him and maybe a couple other people have been mentioned less. You know what I'm saying? So YSL Duke took this plea deal right here. And if you look at the charges, look at all the charges that he was facing in this RICO indictment. Charge 1, conspiracy to violate the RICO Act. Charge 2, unlawful for person, employee, assist with criminal street gang activity, right? Violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act. Violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act by itself. Violation of Controlled Substance Act another time. Possession of a firearm or knife during commission or attempt to commit certain felonies. So basically, an attempt charge for that one. All those charges. And if you look at his sentence over here on the right-hand side, and hopefully you guys can see that clearly, it says 12 years, 2 years commute to time served. Balance 10 years probate. So he's got 10 years on probation, and a 12-year sentence, a possible 12-year sentence, was commuted to 2 years to time served. So basically, he gets to go home after signing this plea deal. These cats have been sitting in jail for 7 months, and he was looking at a possible 12. There is no way these cats don't take this deal, bruh. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Keep it real all you want, man. I get it, man. I get it. When you're all together, you're all gang and all that stuff, but you throwing somebody in jail for almost a year already. Tell them they looking at 12 years twice, maybe even more than that. And all they have to do is admit that this organization is a gang or that it's a criminal organization, even though it hurts Young Thug's case, and they could be home tomorrow, no more anything involved, they just on probation for 10 years. They taking that, buddy. They taking that, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully this is a learning lesson to everybody in the rap game. You know what I mean? That's for real. Now, it also says that 12 years... Message. There you go.
Never forget, man.
Message. Now, it also says this. It says 12 years, 2 years committed sentence. So he had two separate cases or two separate charges where he could have got a 12-year sentence. So, and both of them got commuted to time served. Bruh, I don't care what it is, man. Cats is taking that, bruh. They taking that, man. They taking that.
Bruh.
For real, man. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people are going at YSL Duke and wondering if he'll have to essentially bite the cheese or, you know, take that Italian beef and Pepsi. Well, let's look at what the special conditions are for YSL Duke. You know what I mean? Or Lil Duke, whatever you want to say. It says the defendant, these are special conditions of the probate. The defendant is advised that violation of any special conditions of probate may subject the defendant to the revocation of probation, and the court may require the defendant to serve up to the balance of the sentence in confinement. Meaning that all the time that he's on probation, those 10 years, he got 2 years commuted time served, and now he's out on the street, right? If he breaks any of these rules in the red, he could go to jail for that 10 years, that remaining balance. So let's see what it is. It says, you will testify truthfully to all matters which you are questioned, but reserve the right to assert your Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. You will possess no guns during the term of your sentence or any time thereafter unless your rights to do so are restored. You will commit no criminal acts. You can't have any contact with any of the co-defendants on this indictment. That means Young Thug. That means Gunna. That means he can't even talk to SLimelife Shawty. He can't talk to anybody in this case. So that separates them for going forward. This puts Young Thug off in an island by itself. He can't even reach out to Young Thug and be like, hey man, this is why I did, you know what I mean? Crazy, man. You see the strategy in all this. And now this is not a win. This is a lose-lose situation once these RICOs come down. Now he says, you will be subject to a curfew while on probation is here in Georgia from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless you are working in school or a medical emergency arises. I will authorize you travel, but you will need to follow the appropriate procedure as set forth by probation officer who will explain that to you. You will have to apply for travel permit. You will have to put some information down. So he's going to be assigned a probation officer, and they're going to make sure that he sticks to each and every one of these items unless he wants to go back to jail.
Bruh.
And this time, prison to be real, state pen.
Bruh.
Yeah, man. So you guys see where this is going, man. They're putting these guys off on an island by themselves after they enter these plea agreements that they pretty much got to take. Like I said, man, look at this. He was looking at two separate counts of 12 up to 12 years. Those both got committed to 2 years time served, and he's out the next day. He's taking that, bruh. Like, let's be real. Let's be real, man. Let's keep it real, man. I know they say what they say in the rap music and all that, but man, in real life, I just don't see it. I just don't see somebody not taking that. You know what I mean? Which is sad, you know what I'm saying? Because they be talking all that mess, but let's be real. Now, also, let's talk about this post that he made about SLimelife Shawty. Now, SLimelife Shawty, let's read it. He said, like Gunna, SLimelife Shawty faced just one count, conspiracy to violate RICO. So think about that. You SLimelife Shawty, you Gunna, you only got one account. You got one count of RICO. That's it, of breaking the RICO Act. And that's because of something stupid like I'm about to show you in a second, right? Now, the acts he was accused of, arguably the most tenuous in the indictment, were based only on lyrics, videos, clothing, and social media chatter threats. So it seems like two of these guys, they probably could have even beat their case in court. Let's be real. SLimelife Shawty probably could have beat his case in court. The easiest way to get him off the board and to help their case, if they're thinking strategically, is to have him sign a plea deal that still makes YSL look like it's a gang and a criminal organization, as well as not have to take a defeat in court, man. They playing chess out here, dog. All right? Where's my button?
Bruh.
Let's go. So let's look at, it says, for an example, Make America Slime Again hoodie. That was one of the reasons why he was wrapped up in a RICO. Can you believe that? So Wooney Lee, right? It says defendants DeMonte Kendrick, I think that's Yak Gotti, and Wooney Lee, associates of YSL, did pose for a photo released on social media with Kendrick flashing a YSL gang hand sign while Lee is wearing clothing with the lettering Keep America Slime Slat, Make America Slime, an overt act in the furtherance of the conspiracy.
Bruh.
Think about how ridiculous that is. You got SLimelife Shawty in a RICO indictment because he wore a Make America Slime again or Make America Slime hoodie. I'm telling you, they're getting these cats off this RICO or out of this RICO indictment who they think they might not be able to beat their case. And it's helping their case because they're copping out to these pleas, and it makes Young Thug look worse because they've already admitted several times before that it's a criminal organization, right? So here's another. It says defendants Wooney Lee and Rodalius Ryan, associates of YSL, did appear in a photo released on Lee's Instagram account holding an unknown amount of cash with the caption, "Sorry we made you thug early, Lil Thug," an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy. Now, how could they prove that in court? Let's be real. How is that an overt act in furtherance of a conspiracy? By appearing in a photo wearing a hoodie? "Sorry we made you thug early, Lil Thug"? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. Like, I'm pretty sure SLimelife had their own, or excuse me, Young Thug and them had their own clothing line. So does that mean that each and every person walking down the street is in furtherance of a RICO conspiracy? They probably could have beat these, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because if you look at Hood Rich Pablo Juan's case, a couple of his guys, it seemed like they beat their situation, you know? Because like again, this is a Georgia State RICO. And as opposed to taking those defeats, they said, forget it, man. What we're gonna do, we're gonna have you sign a plea against the alleged boss in this situation. So that way we don't take no L's. We take a win. You go back to the hip hop and you're gonna be isolated anyway. You can't talk to anybody you were associated with, and they're gonna paint you as a rat. You know, some of you gonna be painted as rats. So that's a strategic move like no other, bro. Like I said, they out here playing chess, bro. Hey, definitely.
Bruh.
So, man, let's look at something else, man. I wanted to actually talk about what Young Thug's lawyer said after news of all these plea deals came out. And it was a story by Hip Hop DX. So let me go ahead and bring that up. While I bring that up, y'all do me a favor, man. Come on, man. Y'all hit that like button.
What more do you want from me?
Your boy working early. So, man, let's go, man. Let's go. Hit that like button, man. And everybody who hit that like button already, you already know. All right, man. So let's talk about this news story about Young Thug's lawyer. And yeah, I want y'all to see this, man. Speaking on this situation. After news of Lil Duke and SLimelife Shawty. So headline says, Young Thug's lawyer speaks out as Lil Duke and SLimelife Shawty accept RICO plea deals. I know he's feeling the crunch. He's feeling like his case is like it's already blown up, you know? When he had one of the alleged founders come out and say that, yeah, YSL is a gang and a criminal organization, that was already bad enough. But to have people who are directly related to the case cop all these pleas, that's gotta hurt, bro.
Bruh.
Now, Young Thug's lawyer has issued a statement as YSL artists Lil Duke and SLimelife Shawty became the latest to accept plea deals in the crew's ongoing racketeering, influence, and corrupt organizations act case. You know what I mean? RICO Act case, right? The two up-and-coming rappers became the third and fourth defendants arrested under the sweeping YSL indictment in May to be released this week after negotiating with Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis's office. So the district attorney's office shot them a deal, as we went over earlier, and they were able to take those deals and go home, to be real with you. Now, their plea deals were preceded by similar arrangements for Gunna on Wednesday and the YSL co-founder Walter Murphy on Friday. Actually, he was brought in, I believe, on Tuesday. So it went the Walter Murphy guy, then it went Gunna, and now it was SLimelife Shawty and YSL Lil Duke on the same day, right? Now, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Lil Duke, born Martinez Arnold, and you see his name all over the indictment, saw 5 drug and gun charges dropped in exchange for his guilty plea on the 1 count of conspiracy to violate Georgia's RICO Act and 1 count of participation in criminal street gang activity. And like I said, there was no possibility for him not to take that deal. Come on, man. He was facing two different sentences of 12 years. So it goes on to say 2 years of Duke's 12-year sentence was commuted, allowing him to walk out of Fulton County Jail on Friday. He will serve the remaining 10 years of the term on probation. While Lil Duke hails from Chicago, the YSL affiliate currently lives in California and has been granted permission to go back there as part of his release. So Lil Duke doesn't even have to stay there in Atlanta and feel the heat about this. He gets to go back to California and chill on the beach and say, yo, I'm done with it, man. It's a done deal, bro.
Bruh.
That's gotta hurt. You know what I'm saying? Now, Lil Duke's deal also stipulates that he may be called to testify in the case at a later date, but reserves the right to plead the Fifth while being questioned. SLimelife Shawty was sentenced to 10 years after pleading guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to violate the RICO Act as a first-time offender. What's crazy about that is, I don't know, man. I got the feeling like SLimelife Shawty might have shorted himself because you don't want to have a felony conviction on your record, man. I know it's horrible being in jail, and it's easier said from over here. But, man, copping out to that felony just to walk home when all you did was wear a hoodie, like that was legit. The 2 times he's mentioned in the indictment is for wearing a hoodie. This is crazy.
Bruh.
All right, man, this is crazy, but let's continue. The Atlanta native also entered an Alford plea, which means he continues to maintain his innocence, but acknowledges that it was in his best interest to accept the deal offered by prosecutors. Now, with all these guys accepting these Alford pleas, when they want to, go back later on and get their rights and stuff like that, they right to vote, things that are going to be important to them later on down the line, I wonder how that's going to play into it. Because according to these Alford pleas, you're maintaining that you're innocent, but you're just taking the deal because it's in your best interest. I don't know, man. I see why people are calling this the rat deal or the snitch deal.
Bruh.
Not saying that they are. It sounds smart to me. Don't get me wrong, man. I get it. You know what I mean? Now, following his release, SLimelife Shawty issued a statement via Instagram stories to squash any rumors that his deal involved any accusation against others named in the YSL indictment. So basically, let's just read it. I was going to summarize. But he says, yeah, I'm home. I ain't have to snitch to get here. I admitted Young SLimelife was a gang because it ain't illegal for no group to be a gang. Look it up. That don't hurt nobody. Anybody could be a gang. Plus, the founder already admitted it's stupid. What I supposed to say if the founder admitted it? Stop right there, bro. His logic is kind of making sense. Let's be real, man. If you already have the founder, the very first person that they pulled in for one of these Alford police, say, yeah, YSL's a gang. Yep. What SLimelife Shawty look like trying to say that it's not? Now, the problem is you got to think a little bit more strategic than that about the next moves. I understand he wanted to come home, but man, if him and Gunna being wrapped in this wasn't some foolishness, I don't know what was. So he said, what I supposed to do after the founder admitted it? What I didn't do was say, yes, it's a fact. People in YSL commit crimes like murder and etc. because I don't know nothing about that. So basically, let me, summarize that. It's basically saying that he don't know nothing about the crimes that people allegedly committed and stuff like that, right? He's copping out to the fact that he knows that it's a gang and a criminal organization, and that's what he could do in his best efforts to get home. You feel me? Which I know. For most of y'all, and I see y'all in the chat, Still sounds like telling, you know what I'm saying? But regardless of all that, man, it seems like, man, these cats had a situation where they had to make a deal. Like, regardless of what you say about Gunna, he ain't never felt like he was built for that anyway, right? Like, him being wrapped up in the RICO indictment always felt like a weird thing, right? Because the charges against him seemed pretty weak. Now that we see the Hood Rich Pablo Juan RICO indictment and how that thing carried out, you see that maybe there is an opportunity to beat some of these charges on the state level. But the smartest thing their legal team and their lawyers are going to tell them is you better take this deal, especially if you Gunna. You worth millions. You got millions coming to you, you know, if you play your cards right. Still streaming, 3 #1 albums in a row? Let's be real, bruh. They're going to tell you to take that deal because you essentially just pay them and walk home and stay on probation for however long they tell you to and have to testify. The part that's going to rip everybody heart out, and this is kind of what Boosie was touching on, when Young Thug has to watch YSL Duke, somebody he is supporting 100% and helping in his rap career, SLimelife, Shawty, all these people, you know what I mean? Gunna, put Gunna in the driver's seat to win. When he has to watch all those cats testify against him on that stand, whew,
Bruh.
that's going to hurt. I'm the reason why y'all are successful. I'm the reason why y'all are able to fly private jets, go all around the country, man, do all of these things, man. You know what I mean? All because of me. And y'all going to be on that stand testifying against me.
Message. Never forget, man.
Crazy, man. It's crazy. It's a cold world. Hold up, man. Y'all get them likes up. Hit that like button if you're here right now, because we hurting. We should be at about 400 likes. But let's keep this thing rocking. And I see my mods in there activated, man. What's up, Dream Dog? What up? What up, man? But, man, in closing for all this, right? Yeah, Gunna is put in a tough situation. But he played, okay, this is my honest opinion. I feel that he played right into the DA's hands in these situations, but he had no other choice. His lawyers get paid lots of money to get him a deal like this, so he had to take a deal where he could just go home and be done with it, right? Even though it makes YSL, the other people who are left on the indictment, look worse, and it's really bad for Young Thug because they're paying him as the boss. For him, this is the best thing that he could do probably for himself. But this is where the DA's office outplays him and really wasn't thinking about his future, kind of what Boosie was touching on. When he goes back to his community, everybody gets treated about these situations worse by their own community. You know what I mean? Like if you're in some other community and you go back and they say you're rap, that community shuns you. And the same thing with rap and hip hop. So some people ain't going to rock with Gunna like they used to for taking this deal. That's facts, bro.
Bruh.
Even though it might not be as bad as people are saying and he might not really be a rat or whatever, it just looks bad. And you already see the memes and the jokes out there. And where this is a win-win for the DA's office is they get to get Gunna off the board. He goes back to his community. He looks bad. Then they get to keep Young Thug, and he has to face the testimony and the plea deals that are going against him, man. Craziness, man. Craziness, man.
Bruh.
Craziness, man. You know what I mean? So it's a cold game. It's a cold game, man. Now with that, man, I know we've been in here early, man. And you know we usually do the weekend show at night, man. Maybe I might go live again tonight, man. Depending on some more developments in the Sauce Walka situation. But I salute and appreciate everybody who showed up. And definitely, everybody, on your way out, make sure you hit that like button, man. So make sure you run up them likes. And I'm going to be watching this Sauce Walka situation closely. And for those of y'all who weren't here for that, man, go ahead and check the beginning of the video, you know, when I drop this a little bit, right after I'm done after I'm done here, and you'll hear what the latest updates about that. But with that, this has been your boy Big Man, and we out of here. Oh yeah, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content.